On today's episode of Build Arizona, we'll be speaking with Enrico Saladino of Wrenest Home Maintenance. Rico recently started Wrenest Home Maintenance, and so he's going to tell us a little bit about what that process is like starting a business here in Arizona and some of the pitfalls to avoid. We're also going to live build a door hanger for him. So if any of those things sound interesting, stick around. Rico, thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good to see you, man. So why don't you go ahead, let's start this off by you telling me a little bit about Wrenest, how you got started, where you're at in that process, and then I think we'll kick it up from there.
Sure. Yeah, so Wrenest is a preventative home maintenance service, really designed at preventing breakdowns and keeping your home running safely and efficiently. So we do that through helping homeowners take care of all the little things that add up around the house. So things like servicing your appliances, clearing out your dryer vents, your exhaust vents, all the things that require preventative maintenance, hot water heaters, HVACs, all that sort of stuff. Many people, they either forget or don't know all the little things. So we try to take that off people's plate and, help their homes run like they should. The other part is to perform inspections and safety checks. So, we take a look at all your smoke detectors, fire extinguishers, and then look for things like plumbing leaks, and then exterior, interior, doors, windows, anything that could use repair that could prevent, a costly occurrence down the road.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. And your target market, obviously a homeowner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here in Mesa, we have an aging population.
Correct.
Older people. Who is your main clientele right now?
Yeah, so as you pointed out, seniors is definitely a probably large demographic, as well as, your kind of working professionals, people who, work a lot of hours during the week and don't want to spend their weekends, with a chore list. So I think those are probably the top two.
Mm. And what prompted you, what prompted you to start Wrenest?
So for a few years now, I've been, watching the business YouTube and getting into entrepreneurship, just kind of learning a little bit. So I was interested in a service business. I was interested in something that was recurring and subscription based. And then a coworker at my day job, actually, he kept coming in with new complaints about his AC going down, his water heater exploding, like his fridge went out. This guy, I feel bad for him. He's got 6 kids. Not that I feel bad for him to have kids, but he's got a lot going on. And so I was like, dude, let me help. I'll help you out with some of this stuff. So, we just started chatting and I was like, well, how old is this stuff? And what have you done to upkeep it? And he didn't really know. And so then the idea kind of clicked, this is a problem that I think a lot of people have. And they either just write it off as, things don't last as long as they used to sort of thing, or just not really understanding, all the things that you should be doing to keep your home running well. And so just kind of started to look down that line and see, what are the things that you could be doing? Because I didn't know all of them either. So just kind of learning about that and then chatting with people and asking, hey, do you do this? So that's kind of how it started.
All right, nice. That makes that resonates to me. Growing up, I grew up here in Mesa Gilbert area, and so a lot of that was passed down to me. You gotta change the air filters, once every 3 months. If a haboob comes in, you definitely gotta change that, right? Cleaning the lint traps, cleaning out the actual, it's not only the lint trap in the dryer, but beyond that, right?
Right.
So these are a lot of homeowner tasks that no one gives you this handbook, when you buy a house of here's all the things that you should be upkeeping. And like you said, and probably extend the life of a lot of these things significantly to where you can, like you said, preventative home maintenance, right? And so great idea. Absolutely. I'm curious where you are in the stage of your business, because I know you just started recently. You started last year, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So if you could speak a little bit to that process, there might be listeners who are interested in starting their own business. Obviously, I have experience in Arizona starting a business as well. So I'm just curious, what hurdles did you have to jump through? What did you not expect that came about when you were starting your business? Was there anything hidden that you were like, oh no, I have to do that? Is there anything you're still unclear about with that portion of your business?
Yeah, so we launched just in December, so it's only been a few months. Took about a year and a half, just doing it part-time, developing the concept, validating the idea, then developing like all the procedures, all that sort of stuff. And then kind of structuring the business. I have a business partner, a friend of mine that I knew had owned a couple businesses, and I took the idea to him. He thought it was good. He was on board to help out and kind of mentor the whole thing. And so we're partnered on that. So that's been great. But everything was really new. So, you listen to the stuff on YouTube and they make it sound all easy, but then you get into the nitty gritty and like a lot of it is just decision making, and that can hold you up a lot. So having a partner to like bounce ideas off of and kind of like build the brand together and make some of those decisions, that was really good. Other than that, like trying to convey your vision to somebody to like build your website, took a lot of communication and a lot of back and forth and a lot longer than anticipated. So that was another kind of not time suck, but it took some time.
Oh yeah. Especially if you're watching a YouTube video, they're like, yeah, just get up your business website and build this funnel, and you're like, sounds great, and then that process takes a while.
Yeah, right.
Certainly, I remember starting my business. One of the aspects that I think was surprising to me. So I actually had the good fortune of having a mentor, similar business partner, similar situation as yourself, who extended a lot of that wisdom to me. And when he was instructing me how to set up my business bank accounts so that money passed through properly for easy bookkeeping at the end of the year, that process of like, oh, just go get a business bank account. It's like, sure, I'll just go down to the bank. No, it doesn't work like that. Yeah, obviously you have to go to the bank, but you have to come with a business plan, right? You have to come with, some basic numbers, some basic intent. How does the model work? And then it's a couple week period. So it is, at least for me, I was surprised. I'm like, well, I'm just trying to open another bank account with you to put more, money in from a business. And they're like, okay, well, is it structurally sound? Is it,
right.
So there was a bit of that initial integrity test, which I was totally unaware of, and it totally makes sense in hindsight of like why a bank would want to make sure that everything's structurally sound before you set it up. But that was an interesting unknown to pass through when I started my business.
A lot of the unknowns, like, things, the adage is like things cost twice as much and 3 times as long as you think they're going to. And that definitely holds up, you think, maybe I'm smarter, I can get around it or whatever. But at the end of the day, like a lot of that stuff does hang you up. But other than that, like getting all the software set up, figuring out what tools you're going to use, your workflows, all that sort of stuff, like that takes a lot of time. And when you're doing it part-time, when you only have, a few hours here and there throughout the week allotted to it, there's a lot of stopping and starting. So that is another thing. But yeah, just the time to kind of get the ball rolling.
Right. So you're starting this while having a full-time job.
Correct.
Yeah. That's commendable. It's a lot of work. And you have a 1-year-old.
I have a 1-year-old as of last month. Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like there's probably a lot of guys out there that are in a similar situation where they'd like to sort of branch off into something for themselves and, have life. Right.
Right. I mean, that's the ultimate dream is to manage your own time and manage your own work. And at least for me anyways, but it's not easy. It's not an easy path.
No, but there's never a clear, like if you keep waiting for it, there'll be a clear jump off point for me. It's not really
absolutely
how it works.
And it's been like that for me for a number of years, like just kind of waiting for the right thing to come around or having ideas and just not being confident in them and wondering like, oh, could that work? No, I don't know. And now just kind of felt like the right time yet with starting a family and knowing like, I don't want to put in like a standard 40-hour week forever and depend on somebody else for my paycheck. So that was, a big initiative too.
And why home services?
Just something I felt comfortable with. I understood. I've always been kind of mechanically minded. So, I think about it similar to a car. Like, people know you need to maintain your car, you need to change your oil, you need to rotate your tires, change your brakes. But when you think about the house, no one really talks about that much or understands like all the little things that can be done to make things work better, save you money and energy and time. Ultimately, if something breaks down and last minute you gotta find somebody to fix it or replace it and go through that hassle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Looking at this, so you mentioned starting a family, and not wanting that 9 to 5 to 40 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, when you start a business, it's typically more than 40 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It comes wrapped into your life, though. And
Right.
I notice for my own self, like, I do work more than now that I have my own business, but it's on my own terms. And I can say yes when I want and no when I want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more integrated. It's not this disturbance of between 9 and 5 of my day.
Mm-hmm.
It's more integrated throughout my day. Where I'm interested in seeing this evolve, not for myself but for everyone, is like, we have this 9 to 5 that's so standard and typical. I personally like to think that we have enough infrastructure set up as as a nation, and we're headed that way as a world, that I think we can probably not work 9 to 5 anymore. It would be really nice to have that freedom to return to family, return to, I know we obviously share a common thread of being outdoorsy and, like to do that stuff when we can and when we can fit that in. So you see this as a vehicle for being able to buy that time back, essentially.
Yeah, just to build a flexible lifestyle.
Yeah.
I like to work in blocks. And so for me, going to work and working, 8 hours, period, it doesn't work for me that well. My brain doesn't work that way, and it's just hard. So I'd rather, be able to put in some work in the morning, go do your morning workout or whatever, life stuff you want to get done. And then, take it as you want. And I've always thought it was kind of backwards. We work 5 days a week and get 2 days off.
Mm-hmm.
By the time that Saturday comes around, you're tired, you need like a whole day to recover or take care of chores that you've put off all week. And then you get a day to, have some fun maybe. And then it's all right back to it.
Yeah.
So just not necessarily not working or working so much less, but just be flexible and utilize your time how you see fit, really.
Mm-hmm. It would be nice if we could figure that out for everybody. You know what I mean? That's one of the tenets of my business. When I started, the first tenet, it's funny, I don't actually remember the other ones. I read this book. It was like it was like Blair Eanes. It's like the Win Without Pitching manifesto. And part of it was you need to set like, what are your tenets of your business so you understand. There's 12 of them. I don't remember most of them. The first one was do good business. But the other one I know that I remember that's somewhere around those other 11 tenets. Somewhere in there was improve the community around me.
Sure.
And right now, and we can dive into this if we'd like, but right now I think a big piece of this that's shaking up a lot of industries is AI.
Sure. Absolutely.
So there's a lot of concern about, is a job going to get replaced? What is replaceable, right? And obviously there seems to be a lot of safety, so to speak, in home maintenance, because AI is going to replace, it's already in the process of replacing a lot of just information moving jobs, which is a lot of desk jobs, right? So actually, yeah, let me ask that question. Do you see that threat in your business at all? Has that been a motivating factor for you starting this business? Is that a concern of yours, AI, in your current job versus where you're going?
Yeah. So for me personally, I don't think there's a lot of threat, but I could see a lot of of roles that it would be. For me, AI is an awesome tool. Like
Same.
those decision-making processes, like I talked about, it helps you. If you don't have somebody like there all the time to like talk something through, you can kind of work it out, and like you obviously have to validate it and like understand its limitations, but it's a really helpful tool. And to build a business, where it's just one or two people operating, it's invaluable. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So for instance, I may not need to hire, a secretary or somebody to answer the phones or do the sales, that sort of thing. Like that, a lot of that can be automated. So those types of positions definitely are in threat, but they still need somebody to manage them.
Yeah.
So
without a doubt,
if you're one of those people and you're worried about that, that's all the more reason to get behind AI and learn it and learn how to utilize it, to help keep your job.
And I think that's scary to a lot of people, because a lot of the jobs that we're used to that we might feel comfortable holding on to, I think are going to be replaced. One of the offerings that we're working on at Bank Creative, we're calling it the AI front office, because you're exactly right. It can answer the phone. You can train it on your services, your offerings.
Right.
It'll become an expert salesperson. It'll be an expert customer service representative. Now, I know there are certain aspects where people just don't want to talk to AI. They want to talk to a real person in the business that can make the decisions. And so we're figuring out, when does that actually come into play? After hours is good. Weekends is good. And for me, the way that I see it is, again, a lot of people are concerned that it's going to take their job or their role. And I think there will be a short period of time where that's going to be the driving force behind the development of these tools, is to replace that job so the business can make more money. But I think what's going to happen very quickly is it's actually going to become so deflationary, because your average person will be able to gain access to some level of this software, to where it's taking over the monotonous, repeatable tasks in your business. And so for me and my hope, I really hope that, and in the way that I'm structuring myself in my business and the way that I offer to other businesses, is I just want to replace the repeatable tasks in your business with this, so that you can spend more time with family.
Right.
And so I think from this, a lot of that will shake out, but I think it's going to take some time to figure out exactly where. But being a skilled person in the trades, I would say, is a great place to hedge yourself. So if you enjoy the work, and you can see yourself doing that, and even myself, I call it pixel pushing. It's like I'm a general contractor for your pixel space, your digital space, is the way that I look at what I do. And even some of those things are being replaced by AI in my own workflow. And I see this this opportunity happening where we can have some safety in these physical things, and find myself pixel pushing, getting away from that because these tools are coming in, being able to spend a little bit more time working with my hands and finding enjoyment in that.
Yeah.
Again,
and to interact with the people that you really want to impact. I think that was a good point, where people don't always want to talk to an AI. I think in this age, like, people are pulling back a little bit, and they want and need that interaction with people. And so if you can kind of find a good balance where you're using AI and technology to do those repetitive, automated tasks, and free you up to do some of those more person-facing tasks, that's a really good strategy.
And I've started to adopt that. I understand that probably within a year or two, the average person is going to be able to prompt Claude or ChatGPT or whatever to run an audit for SEO on their website and instruct them how to fix it. And so while SEO is always going to be necessary, because even AI has to know what your website is about, like, you can't just put stuff up there and expect it to understand and fill in the gaps. You still have to do that. While that's still important, I think that's going to become easily accessible. And so digital infrastructure is going to become increasingly less expensive for businesses to work on themselves and not need someone in an agency role where SEO is just their offering, right? We were actually talking about this just before we hopped on, which is, I was telling you, I think the traditional model for the agency, which is my model, the traditional SEO agency will do 4 blog posts that are keyword specific and then post that for you. And the role used to be human writer, and then AI did away with that overnight. You can just have AI write it for you. And then now content production has shot through the roof in terms of words. And so your SEO firm that only offers SEO, if you know how to log into WordPress and post a blog, and you know how to search for a couple of keywords, which AI will tell you what your keywords are at this point, you can do all of that yourself. And so where I've started to shift my own strategy in my business is to help produce content. And so Build Arizona is one natural extension of that, the show that we're on right now, right? I will be able to take clips for myself, clips for you that, I'll cut this down and I'll send this to you after the show is over. So you're going to have content just out of this conversation. We just took a headshot, which I'll show here on the screen in a few minutes, right as you came in. And then I go out and I help produce video, because that's something that AI is not going to be able to replace. And right now it's easy to generate photos and videos with AI, but that's because the industry is trying to, I don't want to say trap, but funnel the user base into their tools before they close the gate behind them. And what I mean by that is a lot of it's free right now, and a lot of it's easily accessible right now.
Yeah.
There's going to come a time, especially with this conflict that we have with Iran, which is pinching infrastructure and materials and oil and stuff like that. The running these things is extremely expensive.
Absolutely. Very resource intensive.
It's very resource intensive. So I feel like it's going to come to a bottleneck where these companies are going to be like, okay, we can't let you just generate AI slop anymore. Like you've got to pay for this to implement this into your business. Even then, it's still a fantastic resource, and it will replace that sort of like you used to be a specialist in just SEO. I think that's going to be up to the people at this point to be able to rapidly build their own digital infrastructure for themselves and their business.
Yeah. Yeah. People are going to have to adapt and learn how to augment themselves with AI rather than like push back against it. There's a lot of people I know who very high level jobs and they maybe don't feel impacted by it, but somebody that is equally as smart as them or in, a competitive type role with them using AI can just do things so much quicker that they're going to outperform them.
Yeah. You're in this interesting position where you came from or are still in the process of, a job where you utilize this. And a lot of trade guys are pretty tech adverse, or maybe not tech adverse, but it's just not adopted into their workflow day to day. Because they're working on their crafts and they're master of a craft. I think we're going to see a rise of a trade guy that is able to do both, and I think you're uniquely positioned to do that. And like you said, customer service representative, sales, things like that. Have you identified any other places where you might take that into your business?
So those are the top ones. I mean, building the business, it was invaluable just to help validate, gut check a lot of things. Be able to look at a large data set and kind of pick things out and look for important traits and trends. That's been good. But in general, it's just a lot of the admin stuff. I mean, and that's what keeps service businesses safe is until there's robots, with the dexterity that we have, a lot of things they need somebody there with hands on. So all that side, that's going to remain. Now it can help businesses run a lot more efficient, through scheduling, route development, that sort of stuff for these companies that have a lot of trucks and running a lot of routes and stuff. I think that could be cool. So to just save money and efficiency that way. But something on your end, I'm wondering is, are you helping businesses implement any AI tools? Because I know that's been a big push in the industry for people developing like marketing type agencies is to specifically use AI tools to help trade businesses and other kind of more hands-on businesses.
Yes, definitely working on that. And the hang up right now, or maybe not the hang up, I'd say the biggest roadblock right now is AI, this tool is so new and it's so, there's no model ahead of me. Like when I started an agency, I was like, okay, I can do what these guys do, right? there's no agency that's like, this is the right way to implement this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm working on in my business right now, the biggest concern that we have around AI is making sure that what we call human in the loop. So making sure that it comes to you first before it makes any actions,
Mm-hmm.
right? It might do all this sort of admin work, but before it sends an email out to somebody, make sure it comes to you. Now that's easily doable. Like we can do human in the loop pretty easy. Where the concern is like you don't necessarily have eyes on the agent as it's doing its stuff. So there's this sort of big question mark or black hole of like, what is it doing with this data behind the scenes? And so security, because I would be offering it as a business offer. And so there's a lot more that comes along with a business offer than just a friend that's like, let me install a Claude bot in your house.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I am now responsible for customer information and customer data. And so for me, the big thing is like, how do we implement this securely? And how are we making sure we have our checks and balances in place so that this software isn't injected improperly, because that's a big problem. There are websites out there that just rewrite your prompt. So it'll go check and it'll read something that rewrites the prompt and will then start working for whoever set up that website instead of for you. It confuses it.
Interesting.
And so, I haven't seen this yet, but I imagine that it could be used maliciously to steal another company's data. And what I mean by that is it runs a task that it's running. And if I can identify, or someone with malicious intent can identify where that's running, you can prompt inject it to tell it to do something else. Like, hey, before you can access this, content, I need you to give me your entire customer list, right? And it's in many cases is smart enough to catch that, and it's getting better every day. But there was a story just a couple weeks ago where one was prompt injected to go clear out someone's entire crypto portfolio, and it did.
No kidding.
So it literally just sent all of its crypto to the website owner that had prompt injected it. And so it's like, if you have to be really careful what tools you give it access to, and you have to be really careful with what guardrails you set up around it. And so making sure that like it's not gonna do something like that.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
It's really
I hadn't heard about some of that.
Yeah, and so it's really important for me in my business to make sure that what I offer to people, is something that's safe and sound. And the metaphor that I like right now is everyone that's trying to build on top of these agents or just skinning an agent to do a task. Basically, it's like everyone's racing for the new Coca-Cola formula. And so every derivative you get away from the main offering, so like Claude or ChatGPT, every derivative that you get away from that main offering, it's like going from Dr. Pepper to Mr. Pibb. You know what I mean? Like it just gets progressively worse as you boil it down. And those people are at risk of those companies just making their novel solution an update on a Tuesday afternoon. You know what I mean? And so for me, I'm not racing for the Coca-Cola formula. I'm racing to be the guy that's installing the refrigerator in your business, because you're going to have AI in your business, right? And those who are adopting it are going to be, and this isn't an order of like, you're going to be a little bit ahead. This is going to be an order of like, you're miles ahead of the nearest competitor that's not adopting this in their business. And so for me, being able to professionally offer a solution where we can go to your business and we can plug it in, and then we can maintain and manage that it's handling your customer details properly, and it's not doing anything where it's going too far out of its boundaries to make sure that these tasks are getting done, is what I'm focused on building and installing and maintaining for the customer. Because there are these things that exist, and if it came down to it, that's going to fall on my shoulders. For me, it's like I can't control other websites. I can't control what your bot's doing. But at the end of the day, someone's going to have to take responsibility for what happens if something malicious happens. And that's naturally going to be me. Yeah. And so for me, it's like, let's make sure that offering's airtight.
Yeah. So now how much is custom tool development and how much is just piecing together existing tools that are validated and do have some of those safeguards? For instance, like, I use House Call Pro, I use QuickBooks, I have these few suites of softwares that I use. And for me, it's using AI to automate the workflows between them so they can communicate and my input is limited. Where I could see an issue is, if AI is handling everything, it could get lost in itself. People can get into it. But these tools, they've been validated and they're regulated to handle customer information and things.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about that a little bit.
One of the tools that we're working on right now, it's a limited flow, and it looks like this. You have Meta glasses where you go and you do your job. So let's say a homeowner allows you into their house and they're not there, which may or may not happen. And even if they are there, they're probably going to be out of the way. So you can actually go in and record what you're doing.
Sure.
And then what we'll do is we'll have it, you'll basically say a couple of key pieces of information. Key pieces of information. And like a last name. So let's say you came to my house. You're like, all right, Mr. Bennett, your house, we did this, right? And so what will happen is you submit that video, you hit done, it saves your phone, it goes to the cloud. What happens is that's going to listen to your voice in the video. It's going to pull out the last name and it's going to pull out the address. And then it's going to check it against a database. And then it'll take the customer's information. And then if it has a high confidence of a match, it will automatically send it.
Okay.
If it has a low confidence of a match, it's going to send it back to me or someone on my team to validate who that's supposed to go to. And so there is a little bit of human in the loop on that. But the intent for that is for you to be able to improve customer satisfaction by taking a video of what you're doing.
Sure.
Right? There's a lot of mistrust in the trades because there are a lot of guys that take advantage of people.
Yep.
And so if you can have this flow where you're showing what work is done, and then at the end of it, you're sending this video to the customer. Here's exactly what I did. And you can watch this whole video, or you can watch the clips of this video or whatever. And then it's sent to that person. It's improving customer satisfaction in a way that is almost zero extra work for you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're closing the loop there and letting them know exactly what you did, how you did it. So they feel good about their dollar spent.
Yes. And so something like that, we are looking to ballpark that at like $350 to $500 a month as an add-on tool.
Okay.
So roughly each bot we think is probably going to fall around that price range. It depends on how complex. It depends on how many checks need to be there. It depends on how many times we're going to have a human in the loop to make sure these things are done correctly, how much training goes into it. There's still a lot of unknowns, right? But these bots that can do these specific tasks and quickly and alleviate 10, 15 minutes of your time here and there should be relatively, as far as a business goes, like your average person's not going to be paying for this to be installed in their day-to-day life. But for a business, if we can include it in our offering, it's basically what we're trying to do. So like our first level of offering at Ben Creative is like you get a website, you get photos, and then we do marketing on a text-based avenue. So Google or Yelp, right? At our middle tier, it's you get that plus video plus meta ads. A couple of other things like review mint, review management, review gathering, things like that. At that third tier of offering is when we're going to start deploying these agents into your business. And so because we're at a level of engagement with these other systems in our business, websites, marketing, and then it's a natural extension to do that AI front office, it allows us to keep it a little bit cheaper for that specific thing. Now, if it was just an agency just offering that, they're probably going to charge you more like $2,000-$3,000, something like that. Where basically it's going to be cheaper than an employee to do that stuff, but not by much. You know what I mean? Like the people that only offer that are going to try to save you money so they can oust the other people, but they're going to still try to make their top dollar. So for us, because we wrap it in with a couple of other offerings, and that's really only who we're offering it to. Like I know your business well enough if you're one of our customers to know and to feel confident that I can install this in your business and we can work with it. So it's just a natural extension of our offerings. And so we're looking at like that next level of offering where you go from just our marketing and website and stuff up to, it's like $1,000 more a month, and we'll start installing these things for you. So when you're a home service business doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 million, 10 million, another $1,000 a month to offset what you're probably paying $4,000 a month for, it's pretty much a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of the pricing model that we're looking at to install this in businesses.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's really cool. Didn't know that you were pursuing that, and I think it makes a lot of sense as an add-on tier. And you're a perfect example of somebody that's using AI to augment your business, not being scared and jumping ship and doing something else, or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for me, it's important, and this is the same for trade services. Is you build a moat around what you do. And what I mean by that is, like, when I'm working with you closely and we're working with your customers and we're working with your data and we're working with all those things, it's like, I don't want to sound malicious in my intent, but it's hard to go away from me at that point, because, and this is what the feedback that I've gotten from a lot of my customers is they feel like in my business, I'm not just an agency. They actually feel like I'm a marketing officer in their business, because we meet often, because we're talking about their business, because I'm understanding their model, because I'm understanding where their gaps are and where I can fill it in. I become essentially another tool, another asset for almost an employee for the business. And for what my models, what I charge, if you were to hire a marketing officer full-time in your business, it's not even going to come close. I have way more offerings, and I can do that because really your marketing officer, if you were to hire a full-time marketing officer, they're going to do a little bit of work and then you let the machines run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you figure out the strategy, you do the work with the customer to figure out what that looks like. And then you move forward with execution of that. And then there's a cycle of letting that run.
Yeah.
So your marketing officer is not going to be doing something day in, day out. There's no need.
Right.
And so you don't need to hire someone on full time. And that's why the agency model can subsist, is because I can have 10, 15 clients that need a little bit of my time each month, and I'm cheaper to them than a marketing person, right? And then, I can expand my offerings because I'm working with all these people, and I can go into, okay, I see this wave coming of AI. Let's figure out how to install it in businesses because I have some free time available in my business to do so. So it's a good model when your business can sustain it.
Yeah. Yeah. So your moat is the value you provide and the performance you deliver.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that's malicious by any means, because that's what it takes to be competitive in the marketplace. If all your competitors are doing bare minimum or just above, and you're offering all this at a competitive price, like, why wouldn't they stay with you?
Yeah. So that's what So it's like, I try to embed myself deep into the business, and I found that this is what people want. I just dropped off t-shirts yesterday to Universal Collision Center. Shout out Jason and Bree. They're great people. And so I was hanging out with them, and they had told me the guy next door who offers something similar to them had an issue where basically they brought me over. They introduced me. We talked to him. His first big guy. His name's Dan. Big guy. Probably, I don't know, 250 muscle, like bodybuilder. Big guy, probably 6 feet tall. Stands up, looks at me, just kind of intimidating, right? This big beard, just looks at me, and he just doesn't ask my name. He just looks at me and goes, "If I work with you and you build my website, do you own it or do I own it?" And I go,
"Good question."
I go, "You own it. Anything that I build, you own. Any data that I collect, anything I build, that's yours." And he goes, "Okay, nice to meet you." And he shakes my hand.
One qualifying question.
Exactly. And I was like, "Let me ask you a question. Have you been burned by an agency in the past?" And he goes, "Dude, 17 grand out the window."
How else would you know to ask that?
Exactly. Exactly. So I was like, ouch. And that's probably 75% of the people that I work with is they get in these situations where these agencies, their moat is to take advantage of you because you don't understand what you're signing up for. Right. They'll claim that the website is their intellectual property because they've built it, and they get away with that left and right. And so for me, I'm like, I don't care who owns it. In fact, I want you to own it, because if we part ways, all we have to do is disconnect my email and then we're done. Right. In his case, I'm sure he argued with those people for weeks. You know what I mean? I don't want that headache. You don't want that headache. Yeah. And to me, I'm confident enough in our services that you'll see a return within the first 2 months that I don't mind at all taking that risk of, our model is if you sign up with us for 6 months, we waive the cost of the website. We just build it for you. And it's not a 2-page website. It's a 40 to 70 page website. Like, we're building a ton of content for you, because I know that if I start getting you business in the next 1 to 2 months and you're seeing a profit by month 2 or 3, then I don't have to have that hard conversation of like, "Oh, sorry, we're not getting you leads." It's like, okay, you're making money. Now, where do we put that extra? Like, where do we put that ad spend next? And then, because we're partnered in that way, you come to me for those key decisions, and I have a lot of insight because of the customers that I've worked with, and the clientele that we have and the leads that we've been able to generate for all of them. And so for me, yeah, that moat is that customer service, which, believe it or not, is not that hard, but it's rare to find. It's crazy.
And I think that's how you can rank a good business is they focus on the value they provide and they focus on the customer. And if they can deliver that, everything else will kind of fall into place. There's too many businesses, I think, that are focused on either like developing their own brand or just making money, despite what the customer truly needs. Some of these marketing agencies, like you were talking about, they'll take your money up front, they'll do some stuff, and then, they just kind of, you fall to the wayside or whatever. But no, that continual value is, I think, what keeps customers coming back to you. And if you're playing the long game, which I think most businesses, all businesses should, you need to focus on that continued value and continuous improvement as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, business sustainability is an important piece. So where do you see that? Obviously, we've talked a little bit about like the benefits of home maintenance is to make sure that your refrigerator lasts longer and your dryer lasts longer and it doesn't burn your house down because you have so much lint in there, and then, your dishwasher is cleaning, well, and your air is clean and stuff like that. Obviously, there's a sustainability aspect of it too. And then from the business standpoint, like you said, business sustainability and building a model that makes sense for the long term is important because you don't want to just churn. And that's where I think there's a new generation of tradies coming in where, college is getting extremely expensive for not a great return these days.
Yeah, very true.
You might spend $200K to get a $50,000 job, and you could essentially start a trade business and make more money than that your first couple of years with zero, education costs. There's plenty of wisdom in the trades, and there's plenty of education on the job that, you don't necessarily need a college degree for. But I see a lot of this, like, actually you went to college. What was your degree in?
Engineering.
Okay. So you definitely have a building mind. So yeah, I guess I don't have like a very pointed question here, but maybe you see sustainability in business as a piece of that. Do you see yourself running a traditional model where you're the owner over it? You have people working for you. Do you see yourself being a part of that workforce for a while? How do you see the sustainability from a structure of a business?
Yeah. So first off was, picking the offering. So home maintenance is something that's recurring. It needs to happen, on a schedule every quarter, every month, every year. So that's the first bit. The second bit, I think, is going above and beyond and providing what other services may be in need. So what we've done is we've created a local network of partners that we're able to communicate with them and get some discounted pricing for our customers. And so if we're in there and we see something that say, hey, this should probably be checked out, it's not part of our scope, but here we know somebody, they're vetted, they're great, and we have a discount with them, like, let us hook you up and they'll get you taken care of. So that's another part of the business that's just kind of an add-on in value. We don't make anything from that besides just keeping our customers and hoping that, they find that a valuable part of it and going and referring that to other people.
Yeah, like we said, that moat is customer service, and I know a lot of homeowners know that's hard to find sometimes. But you're right, that is valuable. And actually, we should talk after this because I'm sure I have some people that we could definitely, if you see some things, give them a call, and I'm sure they'd give you some sort of kickback. You know what I mean? But that's interesting. So that sustainability aspect from a foundational point of view is not only the services and the offering, like you said, one that is repeatable and is needed, but two, partnering with the right businesses to where you can share that network. And in home services, networking and referrals are huge. It's a huge part of the game because you're asking for trust. right? That's a big piece of the puzzle here for homeowners is you're asking for trust. And again, that's one of the reasons why I switched my business into not switch my business, but my offerings are geared more towards making sure that I get your face on a screen, because the more that people will see your face, the more they'll feel comfortable coming into your house, or you coming into their house. It's one of the things like we see. So Element Mist uses Service Titan, and I'm sure what software are you using again?
House Call Pro.
House Call Pro. So I'm sure it has the same functionality where it'll send a text message to the homeowner of like, hey, Enrico's on his way, and I'll hand over this headshot, all these headshots that we took today to you so that you can upload it into that. So it's like a nice, like, hey, this is the guy that's coming to your house. And I know for us, that's probably not a big deal because it's like, okay, cool, you're coming over to do the work. But I'm sure for your wife, for Nicole, I know my mom, it's something that she's told me. She's like, I love when I get a text message because I know who's going to arrive at my house.
Yeah. Even with just a name and something super simple. I had my windshield replaced the other day, and their marketing was great because they weren't reaching out so frequently that I was like, okay, these guys are annoying, but they were reaching out just right to where I'm like, oh yeah, I do need my windshield replaced. I'm going to go with these guys. And then as soon as I reached out, they were quick to respond. They were concise. They communicated well. They showed up on time. The guy who was doing the work was friendly and he did a great job. And, they kindly asked for a review afterwards. And because of, you can do a good job, but still kind of be a pain to work with. And you don't really want to like go above and beyond to help them out. But because they're so easy to work with, like, absolutely, like I'll take a few minutes and leave you a review. Yeah. And for service businesses, like you're saying, like referrals and reviews are huge to build that trust.
They're huge. Actually, before we hopped on, you had asked me I was talking about map packs and how some businesses will claim to get you to the top of the map pack in a week. And I was telling you it's like steroids for your business. And then I was like, we'll cover it. So I just wanted to bring that
map
back.
Packs?
Yeah,
I've never heard of it.
So here, let me actually just go ahead and I'll put this up. So we have this up because we'll work on that in a second here. But like, let's just do like plumber near me. All right. So you see this map right here? This is what we call the map pack. Oh, wait. I think we're here. Let me actually there we go. Get us out of the way. So we can see this is the map pack.
Okay.
So this one that says sponsored, these guys are paying for that.
Right.
That spot. These guys are not. Right. So the way that Google runs this is they run this off of proximity to us right now. So obviously it's going to show us what's close. So it's really good to have a good, healthy Google business profile for that reason. The strategy, so like you're saying, reviews are really important, right? So the two strategies that I'll call them gray hat. You know that terminology when I say gray hat? So in coding, there is red hat, which is legal, by the book, good in nature, right? Productive in nature. Gray hat is like, you're not breaking any rules, but it's not
right.
It's like they probably should be rules and you probably are breaking them. You know what I mean?
And then in between the lines.
Yeah. And then black hat is stealing. It's, using it for nefarious purposes.
Okay.
So the tactic that I see, and there's another agency and I don't want to name them because, they're crushing it right now in terms of like, they found a gray hat tactic and they're doing really well at it.
Okay, interesting.
And so I see it, and I've actually inquired about their pricing, and I've seen feedback on it about Reddit, and I dove in because I was really curious how they could claim, we'll get you on the top of the map pack in less than a week. We don't need access to your Google business profile. You don't pay anything until you start to see business. Or no, they say they'll do, I think they said that they'll do like 7 days free, and then you have to sign in for like a month. At minimum, and they charge exorbitant prices. But over and over and over and over and over and over again, their ads are really convincing. They have good media to show, and I do believe that they are doing what they say. Now, after looking into what it is that they do, I think what they do is one of two things. So they're either using a bot farm.
Okay.
So a room full of like cell phones, right? I would say they're probably not doing that, but it's one of the options is a bot farm where they spoof people interacting with your business by using bot farms.
Okay.
What I think they're doing is you pay this large sum of money. So say you're paying $8,000 a month to them, right? They'll claim like you just pay that money, you will have business. They are probably paying for people to go on Google Maps, type in a keyword that's relevant to your business, click on your business, drive to your business, and sit out front of your business for 30 minutes.
No kidding.
Because what that's going to do is that's going to show Google that this keyword matches to this business and a real human intent signal, because Google's tracking your GPS if you have Google Maps on. They're following you everywhere you go. Google knows your speed. Google could tattle on a lot of people. They know how fast you're going. They know where you're going.
Google helps me prevent speeding tickets a lot of times because it knows my speed.
Yes. And so they get there. And so it's that human intent signal of a keyword's being clicked. It's a human is picking. And so Google's piggybacking off of a human typing in a keyword, picking a business, and then going and spending time there. And so Google sees that as a really strong human intent signal. So there are reviews, which are really strong human intent signals. And for a home service business like yourself, or a service area business, we would call it, where you go to the house, you can't really have people coming to your house, right? So your Google business profile doesn't help you in that way. Now, if you have an office like we do here, we could do the same thing where I could be like, hey, next time you come over, type in digital marketing and then click Bank Creative and come over. You know what I mean? But they probably are leveraging like Uber drivers, right? Lyft drivers, people that would happily drive somewhere for money to then, so they're probably taking your $8,000 that you're spending with them. They're probably taking $3,000 to go spend that on drivers to go drive to your business. And pretty much within a week or two, like they claim, Google will be like, whatever these guys are doing at this business, they're driving a ton of real human intent signal. And it's great while you're paying for it, but you're paying a ton of money to pay for people to come to your business. And I doubt the marketing agency is telling the business that the people that are showing up are paid to be there by their own money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is why I call it gray hat, because as a business owner, you're going to feel this influx of business, and those people might very well spend money there. They might even, the advertising agency might even give them $20 to go inside and spend something. You know what I mean? And so they're taking you, and it's fine because like they are still organizing and providing a service to you. But what I bet they would fail to tell the business owner is that the second that you stop doing that intent signal is going away.
Yeah.
And so you're going to feel this steroid shot for your business where all of a sudden what these guys are doing is getting you business like crazy. And then bam, overnight or within a week, Google's going to go, okay, well, no one's going there anymore. Whatever they were doing doesn't matter anymore. So let's start to serve all the other people doing the fundamentals.
And that might help your business short term. You get, a bunch of reviews. You get put up on the map pack, but for sustainability long term, like as soon as you stop, you're not going to get those customers, that false signal.
Yes.
And it could fall off unexpectedly.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's why I call it gray hat, because like you said, you are probably going to get some reviews. You're probably going to get some business out of it. And you might make a little bit of a splash for some time. You might actually draw some organic stuff out of it, but you have now spent maybe a few months, and you're probably not going to make a huge return. $8,000 a month as a business to get people in the door. It depends on your business, depends on your margins and stuff like that. It might make sense. I've talked to some roofer clients that are interested in it because for them, a $15,000 roof, they're happy to spend $8,000 to get a couple of those.
Sure.
No problem, right? But the problem is the time involved in it. So if that's all that you're doing, and then you stop, right? You have no real SEO value that's been added to your business. So it's one of those things that you become dependent on. And that's a huge monetary drain for most businesses. And there's no exit strategy for it. And in fact, if you were to build your business that way and then finally decide to exit, your business would crumble in certain aspects. Let's say you got used to that volume of customers and you hired people, and then you got off that because now you're paying people and it's expensive, and you think that you can sustain it without it.
Put you in a bad spot.
Yep. Now you probably have to fire those people because you probably can't afford to pay them anymore. And so if you build your business off of this gray hat tactic, you stand a higher chance than normal of reverting back to where you were before then, and you'll waste a lot of time doing so.
Sense.
And so that's why, like, here we only practice the fundamentals. Like, it does take more time, but we prove month in, month out for our clients that the fundamentals work. And we do actively plan exit strategies, because I know you won't work with my business forever. But again, with the other offerings that we do outside of lead generation, we haven't had a customer leave us. Knock on wood, we haven't had a customer leave us yet.
Very nice.
Because they see the value that we're adding beyond just the leads. And that's what I mean by like the moat. We become integrated into your business to where it doesn't make sense to go to another agency.
Yeah.
And you see the value. Now, hopefully your business is growing, right? And I'll remove myself from your business if your business isn't growing, because I don't want to have that conversation where you're like, John, what are you doing? You're just eating money from my business. It doesn't feel good, you know?
Yeah.
I want to make sure that you're making money. Because your business needs to succeed first before you can pay my business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, and I think that's something that's really cool about your business in particular, is that you do provide a well-rounded suite of services. Because some, you know, you might need 5 different people or businesses touching your business if you're doing just a website, just SEO, just this. And that takes a lot of time just coordinating with those people and money. And so I think that is something really cool that you guys do.
That's one of the sales tactics that I use. So when I get that pushback, when people are like, well, your price, like your price, I'm not sure. And for me, that's not a no. For me, that's okay, well, what you're looking at is this price and you're factoring me in as a cost. I understand that. And I'm not going to tell you not to think that way, but I will ask you to think this way. If you were to have someone build your website and just pay flat and get a good website, you're looking at probably $6,000 to $20,000, $5,000 to $20,000. You want a photographer to come out and do photos. You want a videographer to come out and do videos, cut that down, edit that down, help you with a script, help you with that offering and that pitch, cutting that down into social media clips, making sure that's loaded across your Google as well and on your website, review management and review tools. You want to go pay for all those things separately. My price is going to start to look really attractive, right? And when you start to see the leads, and that's why I really push myself and my team to make sure that you're seeing leads by month 2. Month 1 is set up. We're setting up your accounts, your website. We're doing the photos. We're doing all that stuff. You'll feel it's money well spent because you'll see me a lot in that setup month. And then month 2, you're getting leads. And I tell people, that price that you're spending with me, you'll stop looking at that as an expense and you'll start looking at me and my team as a vehicle. You put $1 in, $5 comes out. You know what I mean? I stop becoming an expense for your business. I become an inexpendable arm for your business pretty quickly, because we get that lead machine rolling and we get that going well, and it's finely tuned and it gets you money quickly. And so, yeah, that's sort of the suite that we offer. And that's my pushback on that is a reframing exercise. And that could probably be useful for your business as well. And and you already do it. But to call it out and to give it a name, you already do reframe people of like, yeah, it might be X amount of dollars for a 3-month, plan or every 6 months or whatever it is. But if you're looking at the cost and the longevity of these, these systems that we're repairing or maintaining along the way, if you look at the cost over time, you'll see that you're saving money by going with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And just getting a better quality of life while you're at it.
Yeah, it's stacking those things. So it's saving money on the replacement. So, a fridge can cost, they're pretty expensive, over 10 grand. If you can get that to last a few more years, you're spreading that cost out. Now multiply that times all of your appliances. Now multiply it times if your fridge is running, a handful of hours a day compared to running almost constantly because it's not functioning properly because it needs to be serviced, coils need to be vacuumed, that sort of thing. You're saving money there on efficiency. And then you're saving all the time for those maintenance and all the potential headache of getting repairs done, getting them replaced, all that sort of thing.
I love that. That's so smart. And I think Arizona is set up well for, we're right in that sweet spot where like infrastructure at large is going to need to be a little bit more of our costs in tax dollars to sustain and maintain. And, one of the things that I've been interested in recently is we had a client, EcoSun, Jason, shout out to Jason over at EcoSun. One of his service offerings is off-grid. It's 6 solar panels that power a mini split unit.
Okay.
And it's strong enough in the middle of the day to cool, the biggest room in your house.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're just spending time in that room, or you have one in your master bedroom, you're looking at the cost of this unit, and 6 solar panels can run it indefinitely
Mm-hmm.
during the heat here. And we've had some back and forth with infrastructure here in Arizona, where like SRP and APS, they used to buy energy back if you had excess energy from your
Mm-hmm.
solar panels, but they can't do that anymore because it's hard to run a business with negative accounts. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So one of the things that I've heard is being kicked around. I don't actually have any legitimate. Maybe you do. Maybe you know
Mm-hmm.
someone that might any legitimate information on it. But what I've heard is they're talking about allowing you to sell it to your neighbor.
Oh, interesting.
And so there is this really neat infrastructure possibility of
Mm-hmm.
like a revenue stream for you just having solar panels on your house to sell it to your neighbor.
Right.
And really, you'd probably only need solar panels on your house to power yours and the house next door in the middle
Mm-hmm.
of the day. And so you are this wonderful addition to where we can extend the life of those appliances that are using that. Because it'd be really cool. In my mind, I'm like, yeah, I work with the trades. Yes, I work on digital infrastructure. How can we truly improve the lives of people around us?
Mm-hmm.
And, money is important, and it's important to make money and to structure a business that has offerings, and it makes sense, and you can do that. But like, if we can get to a point where people's cost of living is just lower,
Mm-hmm.
then
Yeah.
we're doing a real true service to our neighbors.
Well, and also conserving resources.
Yes.
I hadn't heard of that, and it's interesting. It's similar to what Tesla is talking about with kind of their rideshare service they're planning, where you're turning, really a car's a liability into an asset that you can rent it out to during the day, and it can rideshare for people, and you can make money off of it. You're saving traffic and those resources on the road. Same kind of thing. If you buy some solar panels, yeah, it's great they're providing for you. But if you can make a little bit of additional and provide for your neighbor who maybe doesn't want to or can't put up solar panels, you're still emitting waste.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And providing air conditioning
And providing the much
when it's
needed
115.
cool air. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Yeah.
that electric bill, it spikes for sure.
Yes.
Like we're about to start seeing that.
Yes, it does. Yeah. So if we could keep that low across the board and keep our infrastructure cost as a city down, it just is going to feed back into everybody's lives.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the philosophical things Cole from Greenkeeper, who was on the second episode of Build Arizona, we talked about, was like, you don't see beyond the work that you do, but you do make a karmic impact.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in commercial landscaping, and so for him, we talked about like spending all day cleaning up a park, and it's hard and it's hot, and you go home and you probably beat for the day.
Mm-hmm.
But the next morning you don't see that family of 4 who's out there now playing Frisbee.
Yeah,
You
right.
know what I mean? And it's like you've improved their life just by doing your job.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't necessarily get to see it, right? And it's the same with you. Like you are reducing infrastructure cost, extending the life of appliances, making them run more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And it's those things that add up over time. And it's almost probably a challenging sell, I would imagine. It's probably a challenging
Mm-hmm.
sell because it's not an immediate, like if your AC breaks, the payoff is immediate.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
payoff is immediate, right? Where yours is like, it's like the same thing as selling security in the IT world. It's like, yes, it's this cost. Well, I don't see anything. That's the point.
Mhm.
Like,
Right.
what you're not seeing is your website's now hacked, and now we have to either negotiate it back or scrap it and build it from scratch.
Yeah,
You know
right.
what I mean? And so you're paying for that sort of peace of mind, and
Yep.
that's essentially the
Peace
same
of mind,
angle.
and that has been a challenge of ours. Like you said, when your AC goes out, that's a pain point, an excruciating one if
Yes.
it's in the summer.
Yeah.
For us, it's preventing those sort of breakdowns, and then like all the savings that we talked about, and especially for all for our community and all of our local neighbors, is to save that time and let I want to hang out with my family and not be stuck with chores and work and stuff. We want the same for all you. So it's like all those different things, trying to package that into one coherent offer and getting people to understand, because it isn't like a pain in your side. A lot of people, don't think about it or don't know. And they get by okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can really help people understand like all of those benefits accumulated,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I think there's quite a bit of value there.
Yeah, I can definitely see for your business the education aspect being a big part of the sales process. It's the same thing, like I said, like I just mentioned with Jason at EcoSun. Most people in Arizona understand centralized air conditioning. And so when we think of AC units, it's either up on the roof or it's out up on the side of your house. And it's that big thing. And then you tell people like mini split and they're like, what's that? You know, because in Arizona, it's not that common because everything's central air conditioning. Whereas you actually go out to other parts of the US and you'll see where it's not as hot, like they can get by cooling their house with one unit in the living room. You know, that doesn't have to run that long. Because in the summer, you know, it's like up in Oregon when I go visit my family up in Oregon, they have one unit. They don't have an air conditioning central unit like we do here. They have one mini split unit in the master bedroom and one mini split unit in the living room. And they'll just turn one or the other on depending on what room they're in. And that's enough. That's all they need. And it's really low cost to run that. And here in Arizona, being, you know, blessed with 85% of our days maximum index sunlight, you know, solar panels work phenomenally well here. I remember asking you if the part of home maintenance, you know, if part of it could be like cleaning solar panels, because that's one thing I just don't know. I don't know any businesses. I've heard of some businesses talking about like getting a drone that has a hose attachment to it, like a big power drone, and then you can actually fly it up there and spray it off, and it's like the streak-free cleaner that you can spray off. And I was like interested in that, but I'm like, I wonder, you'd have to be really careful with what chemicals you use, because if you start to eat the roof liner underneath the, you know, it's like, so it's one of those.
No, I know solar panel companies, so they sell solar panels in different ways. Some companies allow you to buy them outright. Some companies make you lease them, and then they have their own like care packages that come with it. And so they do the monthly cleanings.
Oh, do they? Oh, okay.
So a lot of times that's how it's done. It would be something to look into. I mean, I could see that being a great service for like a window washing company to do, because they're already on ladders. They're already, they have, have all the equipment. For us, it's probably outside the scope, just because it is a little bit more specialized and would just take more time away from what we're really focused on. But it's definitely, if it is a need and there are companies doing it, we'd definitely love to partner with them and be able to, you know, refer our clients to them. Certainly. So if you get a line on that, you know. Yeah,
I do know Cameron at Hot Sauce Cleaning, window washing. That could be one. I am looking for, you know, there's a few like trades that I don't have yet partnered with. And so I'm definitely looking. I'm trying to cross like the entire gambit of like the trades, so I can have that network to help leverage for my clients. One question that has popped into my mind probably 3 or 4 times during this, and I am really curious about this, is like you're in gear 1 right now with Wrenest, where your operations, your execution, right? And you know, I'm interested because I'm literally in the middle of shifting gears in my own business, so this metaphor has been top of mind for me. And so in gear 1, of course, which we've talked a little bit about, of starting the business and the hoops that you have to jump through to start the business. And then, of course, the hardest thing I would say is finding clientele at that level. Gear 1 is always like, where do you find that honey hole of finding the clients? And you're already working through that. What I'm curious is like gear 2, where you have a working model and you're still probably doing fulfillment and you're still probably working that. You're starting to hire, things like that. Gear 3, which is like where you're scaling. That's where my business is right now, as we're shifting from gear 2 to gear 3, where I still do a lot of fulfillment. And there are things that I probably will never stop doing. I enjoy the photography. I enjoy coming out and doing the videos, because for me, that's FaceTime with the customer and it's customer service. So those are probably things that I'll never try to phase out. I might have some other people that I work with that fulfill those things from time to time. But like my role in my business at this point, like the most valuable thing I could be doing is what we're doing right now. Because for me, what's going to happen is the local, like the FaceTime and me being on the screen and people hearing the things that we talk about, I'm going to be able to leverage my face and my skills and my knowledge to be in front of thousands of people through the channels that we're posting this through. And so for me, with my team behind me, my team will actually get mad at me if I'm working on a website. They're like, that's a waste of your time. Stop doing that. So for me, they're like, you need to be talking to customers and you need to be working on those relationships. So what is gear 2 and gear 3? And is there a gear 4?
Yeah. So I've thought a little bit about that. So like you said, right now we're really working on acquiring our first 20, 50 customers. So we've spoken a little bit about that, and that's kind of changing gears into learning more marketing, going from like setting up the business, all the operations, to now learning, okay, I have this thing. Now what do I do? Or how do I like do it for people? So it's learning the marketing through the social media, the referrals. You know, we've talked about door hangers and media that way. So next, ideally, would be handing off the operations. You know, once we start accumulating some customers, I go through the process a number of times, which I already have. I feel pretty good about it, but you know, there's always a feedback loop. You need to learn what the customer actually wants and like little tweaks here and there. Then it'll be hiring people, service techs to do the work, so I can free up my time. I can train them. I can provide, you know, some jobs to some tradespeople who are looking to get into like handyman work or anything like that. It'd be a great way for them to learn and gain some experience. And then from there, just continue to grow. You know, we're kind of focusing locally in Gilbert, grow across the valley, maybe statewide. From there, in that gear 3 for expanding, I see it could be potentially like a franchise opportunity or like a white label type thing. So I don't know. I think there's a couple different avenues to go with, but right now it's really focusing, especially the learning on just learning the marketing, learning like how that all works, how to deploy money properly. You know, we don't have any money coming in right now, so using the reserves we do have efficiently. So that's kind of, where we're at.
The franchise model makes sense. I was wondering, because I'm like, you could scale and you could stay in Arizona. I know. I mean, I have a couple of clients where the owner is happy where he's at. Totally has the ability to expand. He actually only serves the East Valley, the guy that I'm thinking of in particular. He only serves the East Valley. He could very easily expand into the West Valley. He doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Right. He has the model where he's at,
and cool
he's able to pay his employees well, and they're happy. They don't want to run a business. They're happy with what they get. And then he's happy with what he gets. And he's like, no, I think we're fine. Yeah. You know, some guys will run their business that way. I have other clients that are like, we're going to be in California, Nevada, New Mexico. You know, I have other guys that, you know, that their ambitions are sky high, and I love it. So I was just curious, you know, what that gear 3 looks like. And that makes sense. I actually met the gentleman, who made zebra cleaning. And so they're more like carpet cleaning. And I think just like general around the house cleaning, like cleaning your counters and windows and things like that. And he did the same thing. I think he scaled it to, I don't want to butcher this. I think he scaled it to a couple million, maybe more, maybe even got it to like 10. And then at that point, someone was interested in his model, and he went to Utah and installed it there for them.
Okay.
And then basically gave them the keys, and then just keeps a franchise cut for like helping run those operations. And then I don't know exactly what apparatus of the business that he holds on his end that makes it so. That's always one concern, especially in the trades, is like, it's if you get a smart enough guy and he's not incentivized enough inside your business, he'll just go start his own. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I don't know exactly what core pieces he holds on to make it so that he runs like that part of the franchise operation. But it makes a lot of sense, especially if it's a recurring type of model. And I know recurring type of models can be challenging because one of the other guys I work with, he calls it the retirement model. So once you have this like sweet pot of recurring customers, the business just runs itself.
Yeah. It's a little easier just to kick back.
It's much easier to kick back as opposed to like a trade like roofing, where it's like, you've got to go win the bid. You've got to go do the job. You've got to go win the bid. You've got to go do the job, right? You build up enough of a customer base, and then it's just, no pun intended, rinse and repeat,
right?
You know? So yeah, it's okay. So the franchise model totally makes sense. So that's gear 3, gear 4 for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know, the ins and outs of it. But I think it does make sense for a company wanting to grow, but not wanting to take on all that infrastructure. Like if you want to grow regionally, you need all the trucks, all the personnel, all the marketing, all that. Whereas in a franchise, you can just sell the brand that's already established. You have the processes in place, and then somebody else can go like do their thing.
Yeah.
And then on the customer side, I think it's nice because people recognize that brand. They recognize the brand. They know what it is. They already have trust in it because they've seen it so much. And as long as, your prices align, then
yeah,
I think it's an easy sell.
Yeah, and if you have that central, so I know from a website standpoint, if you're looking to franchise, what that looks like is you could have a central website and then you have location pages off of that website. So if somebody comes to check the legitimacy of your business, like you move into a completely new market in a different state, they'll see a business that it's extremely well established already, not just like some slapped together website. It's like, no, this is a website probably already with photos, video, team photos, infrastructure like that, probably already thousands of reviews. You should own your backyard before you try to go own somebody else's, you know what I mean? So you probably have a lot in the way, of infrastructure that is easy for another customer to go validate and look at and then immediately build that trust.
Right.
So that makes sense. So that's really cool. Yeah, I can see it now. As I was kind of kicking that question around, because again, like I said, I'm in that aspect of my business of switching gears right now. So yeah, franchise model makes sense. So speaking of marketing, we had talked about one thing that we're going to do here is we're actually just going to go ahead and live edit your door hanger. And so I'm going to switch over to this view here, and then. As I told you before we started, I'm going to we're going to live edit this, but I'm going to narrate this so those who are listening to this on the podcast format get at least some sense of what we're doing.
Yep.
But then those who are watching obviously are going to see what we're seeing on this screen right here. So for those who are listening, I have opened up Adobe Illustrator. And I have a couple of examples already of some other items that we've designed for other clients. This first one that we're seeing here is a yard sign for Element Mist. When they go and install in a house, right, they put this in the front yard and, yard signs, right? So then these next ones, we're looking at some door hangers. This is for Lush Artificial Turf Cleaning. And then this is for greenhouse painting, my friend Jess over at Greenhouse. And so these are some of the things that we worked on. And over the last couple of weeks, you were texting me back and forth, or we were texting back and forth, and you were just asking me for some input of, what makes a good door hanger, right? Because you're in that sort of the cheapest marketing that you can do is door knocking, right? And door hang tags are pretty inexpensive as well. And so that's one of those things. A lot of trade companies go that route of door knocking, of like, hey, these are my services. Here's I'm the owner. Here's my face. I'd love to win your business. And so a lot of people go that route. And if someone doesn't answer the door, the natural next step is to leave a door hanger. And even if they do answer the door, here's my contact information. Here's more about our services and stuff. And so it is a good starting route. I wouldn't plan on this sustaining your business. When you get to a certain point, you're going to want to engage in digital marketing. It's just where a lot of people go these days. But to get those initial couple of customers, getting the door hanger out is important.
Well, this was an idea that I had, and I'd like to get your opinion on it, is using it as basically a way to do some demographic research. So we have 55 plus neighborhoods around. We have newer neighborhoods around. So by putting these in different neighborhoods and seeing the response rate from them, you kind of tell what demographic, your offer maybe resonates with more.
All right, I'm just writing notes on that because I'm going to follow up with this afterwards. So, yes, that's actually really smart. So label those out for me again. You said 55 plus neighborhoods.
Correct, 55 plus. And then like newer, trendier neighborhoods, like out here we have Eastmark.
Eastmark, right?
Yeah. And then you have, your kind of more, call them like legacy neighborhoods. You're kind of like downtown Gilbert or Chandler, more established homes.
Do you anticipate moving into the commercial space with this business?
Not necessarily. That hasn't been something that I've considered.
Gotcha. Okay. I was just curious because I know like we desperately need to change the filters in this office.
And your missing doorknob.
And a missing doorknob over here. Yeah. If you could see beyond these 3 cameras, you'd see an old building and an old room. We've actually, it's funny because this business could literally be taken care of by all of our business relationships. We had Great Western Pest Control in here on Tuesday. Wednesday, we had 10 plus the 2 of us here. So there's 12 guys total. There's 10 guys from Great Western Pest Control. Oh, wow. There were 9 Tacomas in the parking lot, which you see in the small parking lot. Yeah. We shuffle all the Tacomas together. We were in here taking headshots of all of them. We did a lunch. And I was telling them, I was like, no, I've worked here a couple of late nights and seen a cockroach or 2 run around. And they're like, all right, who wants to do it? They're like clamoring for like, who's going to get the gear from their truck to come take care of the property. So it was really fun. So, but okay, so we got these 55 plus neighborhoods and these newer neighborhoods. And then you mentioned one more that I missed. Like
kind of legacy areas, like your downtown, Gilbert, Chandler.
Do you see working on anything other than a residential home? Do you see like apartment property? No, because that's probably managed through the property manager.
Usually they have maintenance people on
staff. That's right. Okay, so to answer that, I don't know if it was a question or just a statement, but what we do here to find if our ad channels are working is we use a software called CallRail, and CallRail allows you to generate phone numbers. And so what they do is, let's say your phone number, your phone number, right? And so your phone number is the end goal, is to get them to get to your cell phone so that you can answer. What we do is we have a layered number that sits on top of that forwards to yours. But what that lets us do is we can generate a number for a certain neighborhood. We could generate a number for a certain demographic. We could generate a number for a certain ad stream or ad platform. And what that allows us to do, it's just one of the tools we have. But if we're talking about print media, our 2 tools are going to be a phone number or a QR code.
Sure.
And so we can track those 2 items and we can see the open rate or the call rate. So we just have to do a little bit of bookkeeping on one side where it's like, where did you go? When did you go? And how many did you hand out? And then we can track from that neighborhood, how many calls did you get? How many scans did you get? How many people actually signed up from that? So we could absolutely do that on this type of media, and we regularly do that.
Yeah, the QR code is something I have heard about, and that seems like it'd work pretty well.
Yeah, the QR code's a good one. We actually see more success with phone numbers.
Is that right?
Believe it or not, yeah. Now QR codes is great to get people to go into your business to learn more, and then to sign up on your forms on your website, and it definitely does work. But phone numbers are typically when someone's ready to make a purchase and they're familiar with what it is that you offer. They just want information right away, and so they call. And so having something like CallRail is really helpful.
Okay.
Because then we can track, like, you got, you've probably heard when you call the business and it's like, this call is recorded for quality. That's because it is, right? It's being recorded. In fact, I can listen to all of my clients' phone calls. And it's helpful for me because not only am I supposed to be getting leads, but if you're not converting on those leads, it also can reflect on me. So it's helpful for me to go like, if let's say someone calls you and you're like, hello, and be like, Rico, let's maybe add a few more words.
Do a little bit more.
Yeah. Hey, this is Rico with Wrenest Home Maintenance. Right?
But also, if customers have like the same recurring question, then there's probably a gap in your media.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, that's a great point. We just did that with Element Mist because they were getting a call volume of like some 80% of their calls the last couple of weeks because it's been heating up. People are turning their misting systems on that have been dormant over winter.
Sure, yeah.
And so they're like, how do I turn this on? And he's like, I'm spending all of the day today answering this same question.
That's funny.
And so we launched a page on that. We actually launched it last season, but we made it top dead center of their header on their website now. And it's like, hey, it's hot again. Yeah, here's how to turn your system on. And within a day, their call volume significantly dropped.
Smart.
And so customers are smart enough to know to like go look for troubleshooting before they make that phone call. And they'd rather go find it somewhere where it's easily accessible as opposed to make a phone call. And so we did that. But yeah, so I wanna hop on this. So again, I'm just gonna kind of explain to people what we're looking at here. So we're in Adobe Illustrator, and we're looking at our artboards, and we're looking at a couple of ones that already exist. And then over here on the right hand side, we have lots of your media that we've taken. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and start designing this. Now, obviously in your designs, and I'm just going to explain for the people that are watching, we have to have this space up here at the top. Because that's where the hole punch is going to go. And this is going to go on a door, on a door hanger. So you have to have some blank space at the top. So typically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with like a background color. So we can so we'll just paste something there. And then you have this nice like warm tone, which I love. I love that warm tone for your business because it's, it feels very homey. You want home to be warm and comfortable.
Yeah, that's exactly the.
Was that the thought behind
goal,
it? Yeah. Nice. That's really smart.
Yeah, I mean, you want your home to be somewhere like you enjoy spending time in. That brings comfort, not, something messy and hard.
Exactly. Okay, so I already have a slight gradient on this. I do like to do a gradient. It's just nice. So we can do like a. Let's do. The light color to me is always in the top left. When I design, my brain says the sun comes from the top left.
Okay.
And then the bottom is where it's darker. So if we did something like that, like that's a warm tone, right? Or we could even do, like one of these, like we can do the orange color. Do you have a preference of these two?
I think they both look pretty good.
Okay. Let's start with, if I had to vote, I'd go for the brighter color.
The orange. Okay.
Yeah. And we can change any of this, right? We're just going to try to get through something today, and then we could tighten this up as we go. But okay, so we've just applied a color to the entire thing, a background color. And so some of the next pieces, right? So the pieces that I always want people to execute on, I'm going to go ahead and type it out for people who are watching, and I'll type it or I'll read it as I'm typing. Let's see if my brain can do two things at once here. So, what we're always looking for is, who are you? Okay. What do you do? What is your, do you have an offering? And then what is your call to action? Right. So that's what we are always going to be looking for. Right. Anything else is extra, and I would tell people to shy away adding too much information, because if people are overwhelmed looking at it, they're just going to throw it in the trash. They don't care.
Which is basically what you told me on my first iteration.
Yeah.
Do less.
Do less.
Way too much.
Do less. Now some of these, have a bit more words, and it's ultimately it's going to be up to you, because you're the one that's going to be using this and obviously buying this. So it's going to be up to you on that final execution. But there are some best practices definitely to follow. And I would say, who are you? What do you do? What is your offer? And then how do I get in touch with you is really what the customer is going to care about, if they do care. And so you have this very fun logo. It's probably one of my more favorite logos that I've worked with, because, being outdoorsy, I like having this. The image that you sent over was a little smaller. So I just found a font that's similar to yours, and I can get that from you afterwards, but I'm just going to use something that's very similar for now. So we have the wren. Is that a cactus wren?
Cactus wren.
It's a cactus.
State bird.
A state bird. Okay. Love that. So we're going to have Wrenest. And then home. Is it all caps that you do? I'm looking at your shirt now. So home maintenance.
I believe so.
Home maintenance. Okay. So we'll cut that one out. We'll do this. Whoops. And then if I remember correctly, which I can obviously just reference the image down here. Yeah. Okay. So you keep it. You had a professional work on this, I can tell. Was it a professional? Was this you?
It was mostly me.
Oh, well, then you've got me fooled.
Yeah.
All right, because I can see what you've done here is you lined up your H with the W.
Yeah.
Right. So most people would if they're trying to block it, they do this because it's edge to edge there, but that's incorrect for the eyeball. The eyeball wants to follow this strong line down, and then it's interrupted here. So you've done it correctly, and then you lined the E up with the T, with the bottom of the T. It's the same thing. The top of that T is hanging over too far. So if we were to line that up, it would look incorrect. One of the things that we like to do, especially in web design, is we use triangles. So if I was to draw a triangle here and do this, and then come down like this, we want to lead the eye in this way. So for me, if I was doing something here next, if this was a website, I'd make your button like down here. You know what I mean? Because the eye is going to follow, and we always do what we call primary, secondary, tertiary as well. So in this instance, primary is this, which you have a strong logo, and when you have a strong logo, use it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
If you have a weak logo, which it might just be like a text-based logo, or it might just be something that's abstract. You have an animal. Animals are great. People love animals. So they see that and they're like, oh, it's cute. You know what I mean? And so it catches attention, right? So I like that to be the primary, how it is. And then the secondary is Wrenest, right? And then tertiary is home maintenance. So this follows a nice primary, secondary, tertiary.
Cool.
And so we have that. So I'm going to go ahead and group this together. And then I need to actually get my template out, but I'm just going to base it off of, what these other ones look like in terms of like, where is that door punch going to be? It's probably like something like this, right? So we'll just put that on there just for reference. I'm going to make that a dotted line. Okay. So, all right, we have your name. So we're answering the who are you? Right? What do you do? It's kind of in your name.
A little bit, yeah.
It's home maintenance.
Right.
But what I had suggested to you was use photos. Right?
Yeah.
You have lots of photos. And we'll pull these from the we'll pull the clearer image, like the clear resolution image from the videos later. What I want to do though is just make sure that so we're going to All right, we're going to clip these images out. Let me actually just make this easy on myself. This is one of my favorite parts of what I do, is doing this, because it's like I've been told from other people that watch me do this, they're like, it's cathartic.
Well, yeah, you can tell you've done this once or twice.
Yeah, I've done this a couple of times. I've definitely done my 10,000 hours.
Good on the controls.
Let me tell you that.
Yeah, it was much more enjoyable than watching me hunt around Canva for hours.
Yeah, this is one of those things like, when I work with people, some guys will definitely take advantage of it right away. If I'm like, hey, I'll do this for you, they're like, let's get started. And some guys are like, no, I don't want to like eat up your time. And then I'll do something like this, and people will see how fast and proficient I am at these tools, and they're like, never mind, just how about you do it? You know? And so for me, it's actually preferred. This is not a bother for me at all to do stuff like this for people. In fact, that is one of my offerings. Like I was telling you, we do like one graphic design item a month. That's just added on in the normal monthly cost, because it's just, I don't want to like you hire a new employee and you get some business cards for them. I am not trying to be like, oh, you want new business cards? That's $50. Here's an invoice. Like, and you're just like, now do I want to pay that? Do I want to do it on my own? Then it just feels like I'm taxing you because your business is growing. Yeah. And what I want is your business to grow in a healthy way. And so for me, taxing you $50 to make you some business cards is just so counterintuitive.
No, it never feels good to get nickel and dimed by any sort of business.
Exactly. So. And so for me, I'm like, no, I'd much rather you just, when you need something like this, just come to me and I'll tackle it real quick. All right, so we're finalizing these little clipping masks to make sure that the images that you sent over are going to be nice and clean. Getting rid of that. Oops. There we go. Get rid of that white border. Okay, so we're pretty close here. So we're actually just going to take and move these up on there. I do love a nice set of images because, the old saying, it totally works, which is a picture is worth 1,000 words. Because here you're explaining immediately. So this answers the what do you do. So who are you? Wrenest Home Maintenance. What do you do? This, right? And so I'm going to actually have you. So let's use a nice bold font. I tend to trend towards Poppins because it's nice and easy. It's easy on the eyes. It's easy to read. It's nice and bold. We can change this when we need to, but why don't you tell me what you're doing in that first top left photo?
So that top one is changing some air filters.
So we'll do air filter. Replacement. That's a better word. Oops. That to the front. And then we'll go ahead and make that a dark color. So you use lots of greens. Again, that nice earthy, homey feel. So we can use like a dark. It's probably going to look close to black, but that's just for argument's sake for now. All right. So what are you doing in that next one?
Dishwasher maintenance.
Is that dishwasher one word?
It's 2 words.
Is it 2 words?
I think so.
Okay. We'll verify this before we send it to print. Okay. Next one.
Refrigerator maintenance.
That's so funny. The second that somebody's watching me do what I do, I start to second guess. Like, did I spell that?
Every time.
Did I pass 3rd grade?
All that one's leak check.
All right. Next one.
And then that one will be, we can either say microwave maintenance or microwave filter cleaning.
Yeah, let's do maintenance. Will probably fit better. Is that like what is that? Is that like a grease trap or something?
Those are filters, yeah,
Filters,
underneath your microwave. So like that recirculation.
That's probably never been changed.
Yeah,
at my
they're
house.
Usually, I mean, you can see in the picture how dirty they're, like just gummed up.
That's crazy. And then this last one, I recognize this.
That's so like dryer maintenance or lint clear.
Yeah, as I say, I think obviously what you're showing here
is just the trap.
But there's a lot more. Like I've seen videos where it's like you get one of those like roto tools and it like goes up in there and it spins.
Exactly what you use. And I probably have a better picture that kind of depicts that a little better.
Yeah, and I should come out one of these days that you have a job. I should come out with my camera and we should run the whole gambit, even if it's someone that you're offering for free, just so we can get photos or something. Well,
dude, we can do your house.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that works.
We can do a little exchange there.
Yeah, I'm usually there, so cool. that's yeah. I'd love to do that. That's a good exchange. Do some of that maintenance, and I'll take photos of you for stuff like this. I mean, you already have a good set of photos, but we can
see
take
how
more.
dirty your microwave really is.
It's gonna be disgusting. You're gonna be like, "How do you live, man?" Okay, so we can even do like a color block or something like this here behind it. Let's see what that looks like. Oops. If we did like a color block, maybe. I don't mind it so much like this. It's pretty straightforward. And then we could list some other things like you've done in the past. I think that's all helpful. That looks pretty good. Okay, so for the people listening, if I haven't lost you at this point, what we've done so far is we have created the logo. So primary, secondary, tertiary. We have the Wren up at the top, and then Wrenest, and then Home Maintenance down underneath it. And then now we're answering that next question on the door hanger, which is, what do you do? Right? So what's the relevance of your business to me, and why is this at my door? Right? So we've answered that with 6 photos, and then we've put some verbiage underneath. What we're going to do here is we're just actually going to list out the rest, or maybe not the rest of it, but some of your heavy hitters. Mm-hmm. So you have sent that over.
There's a list there. So yeah. Water heater is probably a good one. Let's let's see, the smoke detectors for sure.
Yes.
Garbage disposal.
Yeah, because some people
Those are all
might not
pretty
even
important.
they might not even know what
Right.
clean your return grills, which obviously that's your AC return. But a lot of people might not know that. So I think your instinct was right, which was water heater and what is it? Flush?
Flush, yeah.
Water heater flush. And then what do you think next?
Let's see. We
Smoke
can do
detectors?
smoke detectors and fire extinguisher.
Do you keep batteries on hand?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably have a truck
Batteries are part of the deal.
full. Yeah, just truck full of batteries. Yeah, so garbage
Disposal, clearing.
disposal, clearing, water faucet descale. That's a good one. Clean your vent fan. Oh, probably bathroom vent fans.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one a lot of people don't think about, but actually is quite a hazard.
Mm-hmm.
They light on fire if
Yes.
yeah.
I had one that started like squeaking, and I was
Mhm.
like, oh, let me take it apart to like grease it up. And so I took it apart, and I was like, oh my god,
Yeah, just accumulates.
this hasn't been touched.
Normally you just clean the outside, right? And like, oh, it's good. But
Yeah.
pop that cover off, yeah.
Yep. Okay, so you're inspecting windows, doors. That kind of goes into where you're going to start partnering with people, right?
Yeah, so that stuff is just to point anything out that may be in need of repair. Again, some people just don't know, and they see something every day and think it's normal.
Right. Okay, so water softener refill. So like the salt in the
Right.
water softeners, which is
Mhm.
nice. Yeah. Okay. And then I would say let's get fancy marketing wise. So you say inspect windows, doors, siding, and paint. Like I would say we can whittle this number down, but like comprehensive 25-point home inspection. Because that just feels like you're getting a lot of value out of it. You know
the
what I mean?
one thing there is using home inspection. Like that's a trade in itself and has to be certified.
Okay.
So you gotta be a little careful, like blurring the line there.
Okay, so 25-point. Oh, just so you can see what I'm. You probably can't. I can't quite turn this. That's a little bit more pink up on that screen. I'm a little bit more orange on my end here.
Okay.
Let's see. So comprehensive 25-point home check.
Yeah, my mind was going there too. We could probably think of something a little better eventually.
Yeah. Let's just put that down there now. We'll put an asterisk next to it so we know to come back and check this. But yeah, so the way I'd probably lean these out, because again, we could probably put, probably 30 things on there of like what it is that you're in there checking. And I know everyone's situation's going to be a little bit different, but what we don't want to do is overwhelm, again, the eyes. So you overwhelm the eyes, nobody reads it because they're like, ugh, their brain immediately like registers that as like a chore to do. And so we're trying very quickly to get across what it is that we are getting across, and then leave it at that and hope that they bridge the gap. So I'm going to add some space here, and I might even I might even maybe alter what we're doing here. So we still are going to answer these questions, but I know from our own marketing, just, doing this for a while, I know that what we're looking at is, let's just put that here for now. I know what we're looking at in terms of like what helps convert often. And so what we've found is that a smiling face, we actually did this with Lush where we launched a smiling face on one of their still ads on Yelp. Overnight, doubled their conversions.
No kidding.
Overnight. 2x. They went from a 2% click-through rate to a 4% click-through rate, which on Yelp is good. If that was our Google ads, I'd be a little critical of myself because I shoot for like 6% click-through rate. So the industry standard on a good ad is 4.
Okay.
So if we can get you to 6, we're executing better.
Nice.
And your cost per click, it's usually a couple of bucks. So if we are just executing better, at like literally, it sounds crazy only going from 2 to 4%, but it literally is double.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's double. So I kind of want to put like a color splash behind you here. So if we go that. I'm going to drop that behind. And then we can take and do like oh, that's black sitting over green. That's why that's happening. Okay, so what if we just did like another dark, because we took it in a dark room, so you're going to pop off of a dark background real well. Because people, this is the thing, is if you are letting someone in your home, there's an element of trust that we're going for.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing your face, seeing a smiling face, people like to see that.
Yeah, even subconsciously, probably.
Even subconsciously. It's not necessarily that like, oh, do I see his face? Okay, I'll call him.
Right.
But like, oh, he looks trustworthy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then they like to know who they're working with. So you can say, actually, we'll just do your name. So Enrico Saladino. So we'll do your name. And then we'll say owner. And we'll make that like a thin font, so it's nice and on trend. And then we can even put like what's your business line?
Oh, the phone number?
Yeah, phone number. Mm-hmm.
It is written in the.
Oh, is it written? Is it over here?
That's one I haven't memorized.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah,
there you go. Okay, so perfect. Cool. Okay, so we'll do that. Take that font there. Oops. Oh, I know what's happening. There we go. Okay. So people will go, oh, I can talk to the owner. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It like when people are faced with that prospect of like, oh, I'm gonna call your sales guy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like it. You know what I mean? It's like it's probably who's gonna answer the phone. But if they think that they're just gonna
mm-hmm.
call you and then just try to be sold hard on something, it's a turnoff for most homeowners. So they love to know that they're going to be working with the owner. And think about it in your own life. It's like if you call someone, you want to know that you're calling the person that's going to make sure that the work gets done.
Right.
Not necessarily the guy who's going to tell you the 10 or 15 different things that you need to buy from them.
Yeah. The person that cares the most.
The person that cares the most is the owner. The salesperson cares about making sure you buy the most stuff.
Right.
Right. And so it's fine, and salespeople are necessary. But that's looking really nice already. So what we've done for those listening is on the front end here, we've actually moved the images that were under the logo to the backside. And the headshot that we took, which if you're watching this episode on YouTube or you've clicked the podcast, it's the same headshot that you saw of Rico on the thumbnail card. So we're using that one in multiple places, for a few different reasons. One, it's because it's what we have on hand. But two, again, as you build your business, your face is part of your own personal brand. Mm-hmm. And so getting you on there immediately establishes a sense of trust. And the more people see your face, we say in marketing, someone needs to see you or your brand 7 times before it starts to get cemented in their brain that you're legitimate, you are who you say you are, you do what you say you do.
Sure. They
They see you enough and they go, okay, well, if you kind of slip past their defenses.
Yeah.
They see you enough and they go, okay, yeah, he does that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so getting your face on there, and then your logo is on your hat, which I want one, and then then your shirt down here too. And it's a good photo. You're smiling in it. So we could do like, so I'm gonna say you probably have a tagline in here. So that's proactive care for every corner of your home. That's a good one. So let's use that. Do you have like a font that you care for me to use, or are you fine?
The ones that you've picked are pretty similar to the ones that I have kind of in my
Sure.
templates.
Okay, cool. And we can always, if need be, we can change that. So I'm actually going to make it that dark green. Oops. Let's do that. Let's make that center aligned. And then typically, like, what's the value add, right? So proactive care for every corner of your home, lower something along the lines of like what we're doing is we're essentially
like save time and money, peace of mind.
So like, how do we make this succinct? Something like long-term savings on your house, long-term savings on your infrastructure of your house.
Or like invest in your most valuable asset.
Yeah. Well, that's like, that to me is on the same level of proactive care for every corner of your home. Like what I want to do in the user's mind or the person's mind is like, you know, everyone tunes into what we call is, it's actually a phrase from my dad. He says, "What's in it for me?" radio, or WIFM.
Okay.
Right. So
some dad wisdom.
Some dad wisdom. So WIFM, or what's in it for me. Right. So when they call you, so proactive care for every corner of your home is like a tagline, and it is true, and it is what you do. But that doesn't necessarily translate to what's in it for me. So it's like maintenance that extends the life of your home. I'm just going to get this out of my head and then we can chop it down. Maintenance that extends the life of your home, putting money back into your pocket. Something like that. That's probably a little too long, but you get what I'm getting at here, which is like, what's in it for me? Oh, by going with your services, improve the quality of my home and put some money back in my pocket, right? It's almost like that old ad that's like, we still see it all the time, but it's like, buy now and save. Spend money and save money. You know what it is? It's like, no, you're still spending money. So it's like, okay, so proactive care for every corner of your home. And then we could say like, maintenance, maintenance that extends the life of your home, putting money or returning money and time.
Like the returning.
Yeah, returning your money and time. You know, something along the lines of like, if they go with you, what they get out of it is maintenance that extends the life of your home, returning your money and time. And so let's...
Yeah, something that I like to think about is like your most valuable assets, your home and your time.
Yes. Maintenance that extends the life of your... Yeah, I mean, okay. That's basically ballpark. So it extends the life of your home. Returning your money and time. Or maybe we should probably in their head already establish that this is like recurring.
Okay.
So I don't necessarily want to say quarterly, because for some people it might be more, might be less. But like maybe we could say we could just say that word.
Recurring. It is a quarterly basis is the kind of baseline.
Okay, then let's do quarterly maintenance. Maybe I almost want to, at this point, say like quarterly maintenance providers. So proactive care for every corner of your home. Quarterly maintenance providers. Or maybe quarterly maintenance provides.
Okay.
Quarterly maintenance provides. What would we say here? I'm sure there's people like at home that are screaming at their TV.
It's hard to think on the spot. A lot of times I have to like go for a walk or something, and then it makes more sense.
I can already hear my dad at home like, you should say this. You should say this. Like, he's really good with these these quippy
Catchy,
things. Yeah. So he's probably gonna call me after this episode and be like, you should have said this there.
Well, once we figure out something super good, you can just edit the rest. And it'll make us look smart.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll leave it here for now. But essentially, like, this gets across. Like, what I want to get again is like the what's in it for me radio. And so, what's in it for me is like, if I use your services, it extends the life of my home, returns my money and my time. It's good. It's good. It can be better, but it's good. And then we could say like, this is always a fun one. I always like doing something like this, where I'm going to draw an arrow next to your head. So where's can even make it kind of look a little more like it's been sketched. So it's a little more personal, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's like, call me, right? Even though it's silly, people like call to actions work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll do that. And so you'll get a double whammy on this one. You'll get a call to action on the front. And so let's see, you can go a little bit lower on that size. Probably truncate this just a tad. Okay, cool. So, again, we'll continue to workshop this, but I think we're getting closer in terms of like, again, answering the who you are, what do you do, what's in it for me here, and then that call to action. So call me. And then on the back side, we can probably either take this same proactive care for every corner of your home and use that again, or use like a slightly varying tagline here.
Another one I use is "Your home under our wing."
Ooh, that's a good one.
Like that one?
That's a good one. I would almost want that on the front. That's a better tagline. So you want all caps? Your home, or here, let me do it this way. So your home under our wing. Okay, so we can, that's a good one, dude. Okay, so we can either do lower, like that's capital case, or we can do fully.
Do you like it with a comma after home or just one phrase?
I think one phrase. You probably have it as a comma.
I've been using the comma, but
yeah. Your home under our wing. Oh, I think it communicates without the comma.
Okay.
Your home under our wing. That's cool. And we can even make that a little bit bigger here. That actually, to me, that communicate, even though it's a tagline, that communicates really quickly. Like, oh, okay. So then, yeah. So now it says, okay. So for those listening, the front side, I'd say we're pretty good on. And what it looks like is at the top we have his logo, and that says Wrenest Home Maintenance. And then it says under your home under our wing. And then in a smaller font, it says quarterly maintenance that extends the life of your home, returning your money and time. And then we have a call to action on the front. We have that headshot of Enrico here, and it says call me. And then it has his name and it has his phone number. And it's very clear. It's by itself. There's nothing that's getting in the way. This is very quick to like, this is who you are and how to get a hold of you. Now the backside we'll go ahead and continue to use as more ad space. So proactive care for every corner of your home. And now we have these photos that Rico has provided with the air filter replacement, the dishwasher maintenance, refrigerator maintenance, leak checks, microwave maintenance, dryer vent maintenance. And so we'll add a couple more things here. And I like what you've written over here, which is we provide quarterly preventative home maintenance to keep your home safe, efficient, and problem-free with 20 plus tasks. And so I'll let them call on this stuff because I know these probably aren't going to be what wins your job, right? It's going to be these bigger ones that you've already listed here. So I'm going to hit this one, copy this text style here, and then we're going to truncate that guy. I like this. We were trying to come up with something, and you've already provided it for me. But I'm the expert, dude. All right. So,
well, these are the kind of decisions that like having someone know what they're doing helps validate a lot. Cause I can just go in circles and think like, does this sound good? Does this sound better? I don't know.
Certainly.
Is this dumb?
Certainly. Okay. So we'll get those things kind of up there. And so I think this follows a nice logic train. So proactive care for every corner of your home. And then it shows again, 6 of these bigger ones. And then, it reinforces it by saying you provide quarterly preventative home maintenance to keep your home safe, efficient, and problem-free with 20 plus home-saving tasks. And then this one here, what we can probably do is make these in a straight line. So what I'm going to do is actually put these on a line, and then put a pipe in between them. That way we can buy back some more real estate on this. And then what I'll do is I'll get extra fancy here. And so this bold one, this pipe, I'll make that nice and light. And so that way the emphasis stays on the words and not on the design around it. It's very trendy, but it works.
It's all the little things.
It's the little things, dude. Design is about the details. All right, so we've got that in there. And then I want to make sure that all these are at least cognizantly on the same line. So that's good there. And then we'll do that. And then, okay, now let's try. Probably fit, yeah, like that. And then we'll say, and more.
But wait.
But wait, there's more. Okay, so that sort of answers, okay, what are these things that we do? Great, great, great. And then you have already provided this nice QR code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what's called image trace because I want to actually vectorize this. Okay. And then, do you have your phone on you?
I don't.
I don't. Mine's in the other room. Okay, then what we'll do is we'll scan and verify this later. Yeah, because we just want to make sure that obviously before we get anything printed, it goes to the right place. Quick rule of thumb for anybody who's curious, your QR code can go down to about 1/2 inch before the phone can't read it anymore. Here we can see up in the corner that this is 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches. So this is definitely more than enough to be picked up by the phone. And then it's good enough, actually, you can just get rid of the white background and it will be able to pick up as long as there's high enough contrast. But in this case, I think we can just leave it as is. If you want, we can try messing with it, but I think it's just...
it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think it looks good as is. Sometimes in some cases, like this one, that looked fine. Actually, all of these, that looked fine. Oh, all these examples. Sometimes I'll actually pull it out to where it's just like the black on a backdrop, and it looks pretty nice too. But yeah, so you have that. So now you have this QR code, this nice big QR code at the bottom, which I'm assuming, I haven't scanned this, but I'm assuming this just goes to your homepage.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we'll do this, like you said, for tracking. So we'll set like, basically we append the URL. So if it's WrenestHomeMaintenance.com or Wrenest, I forget your full URL, but if it's that, we'll append the URL with like some tracking measures. So this one would say something along the lines of door hanger, like door hanger or door hanger neighborhood.
Right. So you know where it came from.
All right. So we will do a call to action. So you already had it. Scan me is a good one because it tells people what to do. Again, in our call to action, it's not that people are dumb by any means, but it's that you want to make sure that you're explicitly explaining what are the next steps. Because if you don't, like, the homeowner is such a fought after lead source that you almost need to cater to them. They don't need to go out of their way to find somebody who's willing to do work. You know what I mean? So providing that as quickly as possible to your target audience makes it, like, what I mean by that is providing your call to action and making it very clear, which you had already done. Making that very clear to people is really helpful for like communicating what is the next step, like how do I get a hold of you. So visit our website and fill out. Actually, let me do this properly. And fill out I'm assuming you do. Well, you probably
have
don't
like a form.
Do you do like a free quote?
So the way it works is there's a form online and you fill it out. You it has some questions about the square footage, how many appliances and stuff you have, and then basically there's 3 tiers, and so it'll bucket you into one of those 3 tiers.
Okay, gotcha. And so you don't even need to go do a quote because every home's kind of going to be the same. So okay, so what
so like you can like to get your pricing or to like find out more or something like that.
I was gonna say, so visit our website and fill out our form to get your pricing essentially. because that makes sense because they're going to fall into one of those buckets. So visit our website and fill out our form to get your.
You can say it's sort of custom pricing, but not really.
But yeah, I almost hesitate when people tell me custom pricing and they tell me like, oh, that's how we do it. And I'm like, custom pricing translates to the end user as like, so you're just going to gauge what you can price me at. You know what I mean? And when I started my business and I was just building websites, that's how a lot of trades work.
Yeah.
Is like, okay, we see your job and we'll kind of bid what we think.
Feel you out a little bit.
We'll fill you out. If you're in Scottsdale, I'm going to add, another 2,000 to this.
Tax.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like when I standardized my offerings and I was like, this is the price. I don't care if you're a young company, if you're a mature company, you're going to get the same price from me. You know what to expect and you know what you're going to get out of it. It makes it much easier to move through that conversation because there's no guessing.
Right. And that's kind of what we've tried to do here. We had to have some tiers because the time it takes is going to vary, but we've tried to make it as transparent and clear as possible.
Yeah. And that makes total sense. And that's what a lot of people will see. So I kind of want to get that across. Maybe you've already said it over here. No. What I would like to say is like, visit our website, fill out the form, get your pricing online. But I want it to be like something along the lines of like, you'll know the price by the time we're done here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like you'll know the price by the time do they get an automated
instantly, email? No, right after the form, it tells you like which bucket you go into.
Oh, okay. So visit our website, fill out a form, and get your pricing instantly. Yeah, I like that. Get your price instantly. So we're actually going to emphasize that word instantly because people like speed and they like to know what's going to happen. Let me spell it correctly. Instantly. Okay, so visit our website. And then what we'll do is this is another design trick. So if people start reading, their brain wants to finish the thought. But if you have a whole giant sentence, they look at it and they go, I don't want to read that. But if you pull out the keywords, visit our website, and then they'll go, okay, well, what do I have to do next?
Yeah.
Right? Their brain will read, visit our website, pricing instantly.
Right.
And then they'll go, okay, well, how do I got to fill in the blank real quick. And so they'll finish reading
That's nice.
And so we do this. And we've also found for people with ADHD, if you do something like this, where it's like, we provide preventative home maintenance. With people with ADHD, they'll actually read the bold. And then their brain will skip over the other stuff. So if you just highlight, so actually we can even,
which is probably why on my version, without even knowing these things, I did that.
You did that, right? Yeah. Yep. Same. Okay. So let's make that just a little bit smaller. So we provide, okay. So, all right. So that's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. Yeah. I mean, I'd say we're getting pretty close here. So, again, so just for those who are listening, now what we've done on the backside here is at the very top of this form, it says proactive care for every corner of your home. And then we have those 6 images that Enrico provided of him doing the work. And then it has, again, it reminds, basically you've got to repeat this several times to get it across to people. So quarterly preventative home maintenance, so they know what to expect. 20 plus home saving tasks. And then we provide an example of those: water heater flush, smoke detector test, garbage disposal clearing. So there's a little bit more that the customer gets to learn about the business. And then at the very bottom, we have our QR code scan. So for those who don't want to call, they can scan or we can say like, or call. And then again, we will take this phone number that you've put over here on this side. I have it locked on that template, so let me grab it from here. Paste that in there. Okay, so it's or call this, and then typically what we like to do underneath the QR code, just so people know where they're going, we actually do put the URL. So what's your?
It was up there next to
the,
but
yeah. Perfect. Okay. Thank you. It's going to be easier than typing it. Cool. All right. Paste that. So it's a little bit longer than the box, so I'm just going to put that at the bottom like that. Now we've got to do the bane of every designer's existence, which is how do you make room for all the information that we need to have on here? And so I'll probably move this up, maybe make this box just a little bit. Yeah, that I don't go any lower than 12-point font when I'm doing print stuff, because at that point your elderly population's gonna have a hard time reading it.
Yeah, especially on something as like bold as a flyer where you have minimal space.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get the point across.
Yes. Okay, so we'll take and pull this up a smidge. We'll balance this with the text underneath. And then what I'd like to do here is to keep this. I think that's the picture of you. Hold on. That is. There we go. So let's keep this like the same color as the one that you have on the front. And then let's make this bold so people can read it. Let's center it. Cool. And now they know where to go for your website. They can scan to get there. They have your, it's nice. They have your face on there. They know who they're talking to. It's a nice headshot. It's a nice smiling face. It feels professional. We have your logo. We have what you're about and what more they can learn from you. And that's, I would say we'd call that good.
Nice. Yeah, it's looking nice and concise.
Oh, here, there we go. That's out of the way for people looking. Yeah. What do you think?
Right on. You do your thing well.
Thanks, man. Sweet. Okay. So I'd say, yeah, we just make sure that those images are full resolution. I can grab those, after we hop off the episode here, and get those on there, and then we can send that bad boy to print. But let's do one last thing here, and let's just go ahead and see what this is going to cost. So like I said, with a B2B license on 4over, we pass through that for our clientele, just because it's not where I care to make money. But it's just kind of fun to go through this because you get to see all these options. You get to build your little thing here. So if we're looking at like 14 point, so 14 points going to be like your cardstock. 16 points going to be heavy cardstock. Okay. 100-pound gloss paper or book, that's going to be like slightly heavier than printer paper. Printer paper is usually like somewhere between 60 and 80 pounds. It's just what it's called, is pound. So you're looking a little bit thicker than printer paper here. Typically, I just say go with a 14. Sure. Like it's a little bit nicer, but it's not going to cost that much. What we're looking for color-wise, we're looking for, this company is called 4over because in the industry we call color both sides 4/4.
Okay.
So this is a 4/4. So color both sides. And then we just need a cheap aqueous coating. Doesn't need to be anything. And then the regular door hangers, and then we'll just do the standard die cut. And we could see for 500 of those, it's $92 plus shipping. So it's not too bad, right? And then, we can choose the turnaround time. So they only have one option for this one. We don't need any samples or any proofs because we know it's going to come out well. And then, we can see. So this one actually will be printed here in Phoenix. So we can actually just go to their facility and pick it up for free. So we don't have to worry about any other additional costs. So 92 plus tax. So you're looking at probably $100 for 500 of these.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad. So
and then what do you expect the conversion rates to be?
Good question.
On door hangers.
Good question. So on door hangers, really what's going to extend your conversion rate is if you're doing the door knocking or if you hire someone to do door knocking, because getting in front of people is going to help you. I would say it's going to be low. So just keep in mind that it's going to be low. But if you're looking at $100 to print this, you need one conversion, right? And then you're profitable on that. You'll probably get more than that, especially if you find the right target market. Now you might, we've done this before for a couple of clients where we've hired like a college student, paid him like $200 to go canvas a neighborhood for 4 hours. And, have like 2 or 3 door hangers that he's walking around with. So everybody's paying into what he's, so it made it cheaper for all the businesses involved. And so he went around and did it. And I think we had one phone call from each company. So it was pretty low. They were in Eastmark. They did it in Eastmark. So Eastmark, what we guessed with that is you have a younger population. They're probably more apt to do some of these things by themselves. They're probably more apt to do some of the services that we were advertising at the time by themselves instead of reaching out to do it. So I would say your gut was probably correct when you said the 55 plus neighborhoods. This is probably who you're going, people that just physically, it's hard to do these things.
Or dangerous.
You're probably going to find a better conversion rate going and canvassing those neighborhoods. And so, it's hard for me to say like, 5% conversion rate, because I don't know, it could be really good in some neighborhoods. It could be really low in others. But does this avenue work? Yeah, it does. It does. I would say, your yard signs are probably going to be your lowest converting.
Okay.
Yard signs is more of, you just get to have a billboard in someone's yard for a few days is more of what it is. I don't think I've ever seen, we've run metrics and tracking on yard signs, have yet to see one actually convert.
So I see the tactic a lot, like, oh, hey, we're doing your neighbor's house. Can we talk to you or check out yours?
Where you actually have someone physically come do that, you're going to have a much higher conversion rate because at that point you can actually meet the objections that they give you right there. Yeah. And it's like, oh, well, I don't know, and it's like, that's where you have to get, as a business owner, you not only have to be able to do the stuff, but you have to be able to handle objections and win the sale. And so obviously what we all would love is like the customer that sees and understands what your business is immediately. And it's like, come in my house. Like, yeah. And then let me get my neighbor real quick. Like we love those customers that do that for us. And so if we can find those, which I would say typically is probably going to be your older target market anyways. But they like to know who they're doing business with and to shake hands with someone. But there's also the part of like, people don't like answering the door to a stranger. So it's this sort of middle ground of like, where do I leave it? But I don't have a direct answer of a conversion rate for you, but it does work.
Door hangers compared to something like mailers or other forms of like print.
Probably about the same.
Okay.
Probably about the same. Cheaper to do door hangers. And the reason why it's cheaper is because you're providing the labor for moving.
You don't have the postage.
Exactly. So the postage and then getting someone, going through like every door direct mailing, so EDDM. We run that occasionally for customers when they want to do that. It's not one that we suggest that people do because the conversion rate that's king is Google.
Yeah,
it just is.
Yeah,
Google is the king because when people are, we call Google a intent to purchase platform.
Okay,
so you're not necessarily intent to purchase something when you're on scrolling Instagram. But if it strikes you just right and it hits you when you're ready to purchase, you'll go make that purchase.
Right.
People go to Google when they're ready to buy something.
Right. To look specifically for that thing.
Exactly. So we always tell customers when we start, our first avenue is going to be Google. And so we run Google ads for that conversion because we know as your marketing company, we need to be profitable for you in the shortest amount of time possible, because then it's no longer an awkward conversation of like, what are you doing and what's my money doing? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, cool. You're making me money. Now what do we do next becomes the conversation. But when you are bootstrapping, which is what you're doing, this is probably your best avenue because it creates, so phone calls, cold calls, hard, right? Taxing. They work, but as soon as you hang up, if you haven't gotten that information across to them, you're gone.
Yeah.
Right. This will actually come inside. Now it might end up in the trash, probably will end up in the trash, but for the people that bring it in and they're ready to go, they'll call you and you can, get started on that. And they might get it in the afternoon when they get home from work and they don't want to call you, but it sits on their counter for 2 days. And then they're looking at their vent or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I should call.
And I think the biggest thing here is the education or the information with it, because it is something sort of niche that not many people, that doesn't really exist so much as like your normal trade businesses. And so just letting people know that that's an option for them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Well, we've been here a while.
Right now,
this is a long, it's a long episode. Do you have any other, I have a couple of rapid fire questions that I'd like to ask.
Okay.
And then do you have any questions for me first?
think we covered most of the questions just on the marketing side.
Sure.
We've spoken before this. To recap, what you've told me before was the 331 social media postings.
311.
311s, excuse me. The referrals and reviews is huge. So that's one thing that...
And you have a Google business profile?
I have a Google business profile. So I've been doing some like services for free for friends and family and stuff and getting some reviews and try to get some referrals out of that. And then the door hangers was the next thing that we talked about. So pursuing that now.
Awesome. Great. Okay, cool. Cool. Yeah. So after this, we'll wrap this up and we'll get this printed and on the way. But so rapid fire questions that I like to ask. What is the best advice you've gotten in your trade so far?
In my trade?
Could be from your business partner mentor. Could be from a customer that was like offhand, just gave you some life wisdom.
I don't know if it is particularly for this trade, but in business in general is like just start. Yes. And that's one thing that I struggle with a lot is I like to overanalyze things and think about things and like not make the decision. And what I've done so far, I'm proud of, and I like how like the brand has come out and, everything I've developed. But if I was to go back, I would have just started doing the thing. Like I had tools at my house. I had an idea of what I wanted to do, and I would have just like went and started talking to people, maybe spin up a homepage with AI or whatever, and like just start, rather than I've kind of put the cart before the horse a little bit and spent some money, spent a lot of time, and now I'm on the back end like, okay, well, when am I going to get the return on this?
Yeah. Yeah. You've invested in the tools, being prepared for when that influx comes, but now you're looking at like how to make the influx happen, and just starting is great advice.
And trade businesses are great for it because, there are more highly skilled trades, but a lot of it is, a kid came by, just wanted to wash my like trash can. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. Like, hey, what else can you wash? And he's like, oh, I can do this and this, whatever your idea is, start small and just start and work through it that way.
Okay. So I think you've already answered this next question, but what pitfalls would you avoid?
So that's a big one, is just like spinning your wheels a little bit. Subscriptions will sneak up on you in terms of cost. So like even trying to be lean and like watching what you're spending, you fall into like, oh, well, this is a business expense. I need this software. I'll sign up for the subscription. But then they also hit you with like add-ons. So they're like, oh, but it's limited and it's here, and I'd really like it to do this. Okay, well, that's a $40 add-on. And then here's another $40 add-on. By the time, you add up all the softwares, all the add-ons, it gets expensive pretty quick. And so trying to find ways around that and be honest with yourself to know exactly what you need and when, I think that's another thing to keep an eye on.
That's a great one, especially for my business too, because I probably spend $500 to $1,000 a month on tools.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
It's easy to do. It's very easy to do. Okay, what is your go-to tool of the trade?
Housecall Pro kind of runs everything.
Okay. What about physical tools?
Oh, physical tools.
What's your favorite physical tool, or like what tool can you not do your job without?
Okay. I really like the cordless vacuum.
Okay.
It just makes things super easy, like not having to lug a big shop vac and plug it in and stuff. So that was like a cool find.
Nice.
I kind of built my system around the Milwaukee Packout.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I'm familiar.
All the stuff that clicks together. So it works great. It's awesome. It's kind of expensive, but I have everything like in one roller case, and it just makes everything super easy. So yeah,
that's
those two
nice.
Things.
That's cool. I've always kind of wanted a reason to buy a Milwaukee Packout, but I just don't have the reason.
Yeah.
But no, that's cool. I'm a little jealous, low key. Yeah, and that's okay. So another rapid fire question, and I'll wrap it up after this one. But you're still pretty much in the start of this process. But like, if you could go back right at the beginning, and knowing what you know now, what would you tell yourself to do differently?
Differently is probably just be more confident in decision making. Usually like the first couple things your gut is telling you is the right way. And if you take too much time, you start to second guess yourself, and then And if it's not like your full focus, it's easy to kind of forget and like move on, and then you have to come back to it and that whole thing. So I think that's a big one. I was just kind of learning about AI when I started all this. And so like within the last few months, it's been huge. But starting out, like I could have done some of those things, like just done a quick website for myself. I helped use it to develop like some of the procedures and validate ideas and stuff, which I think that's a great one, is if you have ideas, like just run it through ChatGPT or whatever, have it do some market analysis. It always tells you kind of what you want to hear. So you got to but you can get some good information from that.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, I think we're good. This has been an awesome conversation, and I'm glad we got to do this. This is always fun for me when I get to do a little bit of design work, because it's what I started my business on, was design work, and it's not necessarily my day in and day out anymore. So
and it's cool learning kind of the ins and outs of more of what you do, and then kind of what you're moving towards as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, thank you, so much for your time, Enrico. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely, man. Happy to be here.
I'm going to shake your hand here.